there, my name is Karim Ladha, and I'm an anesthesiologist and clinician scientist at the University of Toronto in Toronto, Canada. I'm also the 2018 recipient of the IARS Mentored Research Award. One of the most challenging things when you're starting off as a clinician scientist is to get that first award, and this was my first research grant that I had gotten. And so for that reason alone, I think it played a huge part in setting me off in this sort of career trajectory towards becoming a full-fledged principal investigator and clinician scientist. It was actually a family member who had undergone surgery, and everything, as far as we could tell, was successful. They made it out of the hospital, there was no significant complications, but they really couldn't get back to the level that they were at before.
In 2018, as a staff anesthesiologist and independent PI at University of Toronto, Dr. Karim Ladha was awarded the IARS Mentored Research Award for his research, Peri-Operative Wearables in Elder Recovery After Surgery Trial.
So when patients undergo surgery, we in anesthesia often have our own definition of success. And often that means, did the patient have a heart attack? Did they have a stroke? Or even in the worst case, did they die? But in truth, success after surgery often means different things for patients. It means, could they get back to the point where they were before surgery? So what we set out to do is really measure that using an objective manner, which is actigraphs or wearable technology. And so what we did is we sought to put actigraphs on patients before surgery and track their movements over time after they were discharged from the hospital to see how they were doing. So we launched it, but unfortunately because of COVID, the project was delayed for a couple of years in Canada, but the project's done and we're just in the final phases of analyzing the data at this point. We've done some preliminary work to show that actigraphs don't necessarily correlate to what we consider standard measures. So as part of this project, and preliminary work, we looked at actigraph data that we had already on hand during someone's hospitalization to see if it correlated with pain scores. And what was interesting is it didn't. And so what we're really interested to find out is how well this actigraph data eventually correlates to other validated measures of recovery after surgery. What makes our study unique is that we put these devices on patients before their operation and then put them back on after and follow them over periods of time, several months into their recovery, to see their different trajectories. And so by measuring these data at different time points, we really get a true sense of the journey of a patient through the perioperative period. Our focus isn't necessarily wearable technology anymore, but that same sort of idea of what it means to actually go through surgery and what it means to recover from surgery. I think that's still central to our core of what the research that we do. You know, that initial spark definitely started it, but it's evolved over time to grow and look at multiple facets of recovery after surgery. The reality is our healthcare system isn't having increased resources and patients are only getting sicker, and so we have to come up with ways to monitor patients better as we face the reality of scarce resources. And I do think wearable technology and remote monitoring has that potential. And so this data that we're collecting is going to be key to filling that gap in knowledge. When I think back to my research career, I really do view this award as probably one of the defining moments of my career. I think the other thing that this award did and what makes it special is the relationship that you build with your mentor. And I think having that mentorship sealed by this grant really formed a bond. And, you know, my mentor and I still work together to this day on every project that we do. And we have our own research program. For me, I'm immensely grateful to the IRS for it. And I really do think it sort of put my career on a trajectory that it would not have otherwise been able to achieve. We want to bring awareness to the anesthesia community of what matters and potentially influences recovery after surgery and take a broader view. Eventually, we hope that this will help care for patients and improve care for patients after their surgery. Too often, you know, we hear from patients that they feel abandoned once they leave the hospital and no one's watching them as they recover. And so by using technology such as this, it might give us the opportunity to follow patients with relatively little resources and identify patients who aren't doing well before their first follow-up appointment. There's a lot of opportunities to still get better at what we do and explore what happens to patients around the time of surgery. And I think that's what's exciting to me about the field, is really, again, looking beyond what happens in the operating room to see what role our field can play in helping patients not only prepare for their surgery, but also do well once they're discharged from the hospital.
Your IARS membership and donations enable the support of future research leaders who will advance the science. Thank you.